Welcome back. The Boston has entered the chat here with our resident ace. I call him LD. Lenny DiNardo. You know we love him. LD, I'm going right in, my brother. Thanks for getting up early with us. And I have to know, at this point, I had all these aspirations of this team's going to win the division, or they're going to be this seed, or they're going to host this game. Now, LD, just make the postseason. That's where I'm at with the Red Sox. By any means necessary, don't blow this. Is this team going to make it? What's your gut say?
Look, I had this team winning 93 games preseason, and everybody was saying, what? That's way too optimistic. And, think about the number of games that this team won by or lost by one run or blew at the last minute or struck out. George, we were talking in break about how many times they struck out with runners in scoring position or left on base. So many games. If they won a quarter of those, then they would be sitting in the driver's seat, not sweating at all. But here we are down to the wire. My gut feeling is they're going to make it because I feel like the magic number, if I'm correct, is 9. If the Red Sox win 6 and Cleveland loses 3, right, then they are going to get in. If they win 89, maybe 90 games, something like that, maybe 88, depending on how it goes. That's the thing, though. You don't want to have to depend on other teams losing.
Right.
Cleveland just lost 10, basically. Yeah. So, Seattle just won 10.
Right.
You're talking about some teams that you're playing well, you're not playing well, but you don't want to leave it in their hands, right?
Yeah. And that's, too, we've seen the teams that are behind them. The Guardians are surging. The Texas Rangers have been on a run. And now we see them tied with the Astros for the final wildcard spot, but still a three-game lead from getting bounced out.
That's right.
But also, as we talked about the bats, right, the lack of driving in runners when they're in scoring position, the weak contact we're seeing, it's also a lineup we've seen drop off since Roman Anthony went down. They're basically bottom third in Major League Baseball. Now, it's an 11-game sample size. It's not the biggest one. And what was great about this team, it was more than Roman Anthony. But he was so good as a leadoff hitter. What have you seen change with this lineup, the way they're swinging the bats, the way they're hitting in general, Lenny, that has led to this drop-off in production for them?
Well, you got to look at the approach, right? You got to make adjustments. Last night's a great example. This Oakland, my goodness, Sacramento.
Okay. They don't know where they play either, Lenny. It doesn't matter.
Nobody knows.
I did the same thing yesterday. Yeah.
The A's, the Athletics, you saw what they did to this squad pitching. They were just breaking ball after breaking ball, and the Red Sox were rolling over consistently. A couple double plays that got them out of key innings where they really had a shot to go out and break it open. It's about making adjustments, but you hit it on the head. The line of demarcation between September 2nd, the day that Roman Anthony went down, and today is completely different. The kid had a great eye. He was taking hit free bags. He was driving the baseball, hitting the ball hard consistently. We started to see the long ball come around as well. I call it the Kyle Schwarber effect because when he came over, he had a similar eye. He could also drive the baseball. And I noticed guys up and down the lineup started to take the same approach. The good news is Trevor Story is absolutely on fire right now. He's been on fire since after the first month of the season. Bregman's breaking out. You're not quite seeing the typical Alex Bregman pulling the ball towards the green monster. He's hitting the ball, and even through that mini slump, he was hitting the ball, but his timing was off just a little bit. If he can get right, if Rafaela can get right, who's a clutch hitter, who's just chasing. And we're talking about approach here. He's chasing too often. I feel like you could roll the ball to home plate right now, and he's going to swing at it. That's not going to get it done at the big league level. So there's certain guys that have to get it done. Jaron Duran, another guy. I want to see him use the opposite field. You start driving the ball the other way, hitting the ball in the air that way, that's chaos in the base pass. You're going to start to make things happen.
All right, LD, I've been looking forward to seeing you. You know I always reach out. This is your birthday month. I always reach out for your birthday.
Friday.
That's right. You know I got you. But I also have been wanting to see you because I want to ask what these young guns are experiencing in terms of the Red Sox pitchers. We saw early last night. Harrison, we know, Tolle, etc. What are these young guys feeling right now? I can't imagine the pressure that must be on them, being on the Red Sox alone, okay? And then you're trying to make a postseason push as well. You, I know, have some insight to that. What does that feel like? What are these guys experiencing right now?
Yeah, you said it. Pressure. And a word, pressure. And they're going through open tryouts right now. You think about it. These guys, the Red Sox want to see what these young kids are made of when it comes to getting it done when the lights are brightest, and they don't get any brighter than Fenway Park in a playoff atmosphere. And it hasn't been like that in quite some time. So I've been impressed. Connolly early, extremely impressed with consistency, with just the demeanor on the mound. It just doesn't matter what the situation is. If you give up a base hit, he's right back at it. He gets quick outs afterwards. He's got great damage control. The A's aren't stacking at-bats, similar to the Red Sox. They weren't stacking at-bats against Connolly early, partially because, he's got a good fastball. Yeah, that's great. But with Peyton Tolley, you can hit fastballs if you know it's coming. His secondary stuff isn't consistent in the zone, so guys are just waiting on the fastball, and they're driving it. Connolly early, we talked about the fastball. The secondary stuff, he's able to throw it first pitch, last pitch, 3-2, 0-0, 0-2, 1-1. It doesn't matter. He's got 4 pitches he can control in or out of the zone depending on the count. And, last night, 7 strikeouts and on 5 different pitches. So if you ask the A's, what's his strikeout pitch? Well, depends on who you ask, right? And that's a good thing. It's not one pitch he's coming at you with to get swing and miss. He's coming at you with just a huge repertoire. That's key to pitching into big leagues and having success. And Harrison, another guy trying out, another guy with more experience at the big league level, but I was impressed with him as well, the way he went out there out west and threw strikes, pounded the strike zone, and got outs. That's what it's all about, get outs.
Yep, especially with Connolly early through 10 1/3 innings pitched. He's only allowed 11 base runners, 1 walk, 10 hits, and then has 18 Ks you've seen through his 2 starts.
All A's, though. He's not going to play the A's forever, George.
I agree, and he's going to see a lineup possibly a third time and see in the postseason. But that leads to this, Lenny, because we also see early pulled early, even when he's dealing. Now, as Alex Cora said it, good hitter coming up in Brent Rooker. They go to the bullpen. Weiser can't get the job done. What can they do about the middle part of this rotation, middle part of this bullpen, before you get to Whitlock, Chapman, to figure out those setup guys to hold on to leads or keep games within reach? Because now, again, it's talking about not against the A's, but in postseason baseball.
Yep. Yeah, you're exactly right. He got pulled after 80 pitches. I want to say 53 or 56 strikes. He was pounding the strike zone. Last time out, he threw 90. End up striking out 11. You strike out that many hitters, your pitch count's going to get up there. Yeah. But I thought he had more in the tank. When this was going on, I was like, oh man, leave him out there. Give him the rest of this inning. It's going to help bridge that gap between the 2 studs that you were talking about. And Greg Weiser, listen, he's been outstanding this year, but he's tired. He's tired.
Yep.
He's thrown so many innings, so many appearances. You can see it translate into the stuff. It's just not as sharp, and he's missing over the middle like yesterday. And I don't care if you're the Oakland A's or the 27 New York Yankees. You tank something over the middle of the plate, you're going to give up some damage, right? So, I like what Matz has done. I like what Wilson has done. These are guys, that can beat lefties, and they can also beat righties, which is important in today's game where you got to face 3 batters coming in an inning. But you're right. You got to get to Whitlock. You got to get to Chapman any way, shape, or form. And again, everybody's trying out for that situation now.
And while we're talking, Trav, real quick, while we're talking about these young guys, what do you see as what could be, what would you take? This is what I want to ask. What would you take, Lenny, as the role for a Peyton Tolley and a Connolly early in the postseason, in any capacity?
Yeah, right now, Connolly early is a starter, in my opinion. I love the fact that he can get deep into games. He's not picking on the corners. He's attacking the zone, and he's shown the aptitude to go out there and give you a good 5-6 innings. Peyton Tolley, I think he's a 1-inning guy right now. I think he's a guy, if you need someone in a pocket down the order where you can just below the fastball, buy guys, and hopefully show a sharp breaking ball in the zone so it keeps everybody off that fastball, he's your guy. Harrison, he's a guy, maybe middle inning guy. Maybe he can go out there and give you, if the starter gives it up after 4, maybe he can give you 2 or 3 innings of good, solid relief and bridge that gap and keep you in a ballgame. That's what I've seen from these rookies so far. Hopefully we get in a situation where we're going to use them in the postseason.
Well, my thing is, I hate to be Debbie Downer on this whole thing, but I'm hearkening back to the trade deadline. Honest to God, if you get a couple arms who are big leaguers who can start, Lenny, then you would either just still be developing these kids, or you could put them in positions during the postseason to come up, eat some innings up, get some playoff experience, not put the weight of the world on their shoulders. But the reality now of where this baseball team is a lot of these kids are going to be, assuming we make the postseason, are going to be pitching in big spots and starting in big spots. I just think it almost feels unfair, but it's where we're at. So it's baptism by fire for these kids. I want to stick with the pitching staff, though. Last out for Giolito, I thought he was really good against the Yankees. I thought he should have won. He didn't get the run support. Brian Bayo, not so much. We're going to see both of these guys here against the A's that now these two games, for my money, as far as I'm concerned, Lenny, these are must-win games. You cannot lose this series to the A's and make us feel good about you making the postseason. What are you anticipating to see from Giolito tonight and Bayo in his next start?
Well, I mean, we're getting to the point of the season where we're going to say every game that this is the most important game of the year.
Yeah.
Right. It's going to be like that until the end of the season, just plain and simple, because the Red Sox have put themselves in that scenario, which is a good problem to have, right? You know, you're fighting for a playoff position. You know, it could be worse. You could be 78-78 or 81-81 like the past few years. But yeah, you know, Giolito and Bayo, it's simple. Right? Attack the zone. Trust your stuff. It's worked the whole season. Don't go out there and walk batters. They've been pretty good about giving away free bags. They haven't done it. Giolito, that's one thing you got to notice with him. If he walks 2 or 3 or 4 or 5, which you've seen a few times this season, that's where he can fall into trouble. I want to see him keep him off the free bag base. And as far as home runs, he's done a good job of keeping them in the ballpark as well. Bayo, same thing. Trust your stuff. That's the biggest difference between Bayo this year and in years past. I feel like he has a lot more trust in his stuff, and he knows what kind of pitcher he is. He's a ground ball guy. He knows that he's a contact pitcher. When he tries to strike everybody out, he's picking on the corners. He's trying to make the perfect pitch rather than trusting his stuff.
Yep.
And that's where he leaves it over the middle and gives up hard contact. So I think he's found himself.
That's what I love about Bayo. We saw him be a 30-game starter last year. You know he can go the distance. This part, the step forward, to your point, is the confidence of, I'm a soft contact pitcher, and maybe the best thing you do is know who you are, and at that point, rely on your strengths, which Bayo has done. We've seen him be a number 2, a number 3. Lenny, when it comes to this run, or this stretch more of that the Red Sox have been on, losing 7 of their last 11 games, and like we see last night, the offense only producing 1 run, losing another 1-run game, from a player's perspective, what can break you out of this funk? I know for you it'd be pitching, but what have you seen work in a clubhouse that can break a lineup out of a funk like this one?
You know, baseball's a funny game, and you can, if you're Trevor Story and if you're Alex Bregman, and you can pull a meeting together, a player meeting, and say, all right, guys, this is coming down to this. We need to band together. That can work. But honestly, baseball is such a funny game. Something like, hey, guys, get all your broken bats, get all your old jock straps, get everything that's getting ready to throw away. Let's go have a bonfire in the parking lot. Something like that, just to bring everybody together to forget about the pressure. And we actually did that when my last season playing for the Lancaster Barnstormers, independent ball. Butch Hobson was my manager. We were terrible at the time. Said, guys, grab all your crap that's getting ready to get thrown out. We did. We know what was going on. We brought it to the parking lot, had a bonfire in the parking lot, burned it all. I went out that night and threw a no-hitter.
Wow.
I kid you not. 5/8/13 was the only no-hitter, I believe, in Lancaster Barnstormers history. We had a bonfire in the parking lot. We were terrible before that. Little things like that go a long way.
I love that, though. I love that. Just something where, like, the mentally take it off your shoulders, the relief, and, like, you burn something, and whatever it needs to be, there's a mental wall at some point. You burn it, you put it behind you, and it's a fresh game that day.
There's also the shots game. There's a team maybe 21 years ago, there's a Red Sox club I might know about that took shots before a game.
Okay.
I'm not saying they should do that. I'm not condoning that, but that's another example of things just to get you off out of your own head.
Yeah.
Right?
Nothing against bonfires. I'm in that club. I want to ask you this. I don't know if any bonfire can fix this. Look, here's the beauty of LD, George. I'm going to give you some insight. I have seen this guy answer questions depending on the audience. So if he's talking to a bunch of seam heads, George, he can get analytical with you with the best of them, okay? But if he's talking to a casual fan, he'll answer that way. So I say all that to say this. LD, why is this team so bad with runners in scoring position? Can they get it fixed before the playoffs? And also, talk to me. Explain this like I'm a 5-year-old, because I don't understand why the hell this team leaves people on base. Help me help us, please.
You know, first of all, let me preface this by saying hitting is hard. You're talking about guys throwing 1,000,000 miles an hour, changing speed with movement. It's difficult, okay? And guys get hot, guys get cold. Depends on who's hot and cold at the time to drive this lineup to where you need to go. But approach, right? Okay. Ted Williams' #1 rule of baseball was get a good pitch to hit, right? Okay. And what I saw last night is a lot of quick at-bats, guys swinging at pitches outside the zone early, which tells me if you're in an 0-2 count, right? You got to protect the plate. You shouldn't have to protect the plate and swing off the corners 0-0 or 1-0 or 2-0. You're not getting a good enough pitch to drive, and you're making quick outs, and you're doing the the A's a favor by getting out quickly by that approach. So if it's 2-0, you're looking for one pitch, one zone, fastball right down the middle. 0-2, you got to choke up, spread your feet, get close to the plate, challenge that pitcher to come in so you can kind of determine, all right, I'm getting up to the plate, I want you to come inside a little bit. That helps you say, okay, I'm forcing him to come in, right? So I'm looking for that spot. That's when you protect. 0-2.
Okay.
2-0, not the case.
I would like to point out, May 8th, 2013, Lenny DiNardo, 115 pitches, 28 batters faced, first no-hitter in franchise history, 8 strikeouts, 9-0 win by Lancaster.
Let's go, LD.
Over Long Island Ducks.
Was there any mention of a bonfire? Did they talk about the bonfire at all? Come on.
Any mention of the bonfire?
He had a great game plan, said the pitching coach. He moved fastball around, through the breaking ball for strikes, command out of the strike zone when he needed to.
Nothing about the bonfire?
Nothing about a bonfire, but now we know about the bonfire.
Now we know. Now everybody knows. That's why, right there.
Lenny,
you're the best,
we
man.
appreciate it, man. When we have a bad show, we know how to fix it now. We'll go out back, start a bonfire. Thank you, brother. Thanks for getting up early.
Be careful.
Call the fire department.
Only you can prevent forest fires.
That's right. There he is. Thank you, Lenny. We appreciate you getting up early with us.